Hi, I am Irina Chen. I am a composer and I write cinematic music that tells stories. On this channel, I am sharing my journey of starting music in my late 40s and slowly building a new life as a composer. Today, I want to answer a few questions I get all the time. Before you call yourself a composer, what did you do for work? Before music, I was a marketing consultant. I worked with book authors and helped them find readers. I also taught, and I still have, online course about marketing for authors. My whole business was in Russian language. And in 2022, a lot of things changed, and my business basically died. Payments become hard or impossible, and many authors suddenly have so much bigger problem than book marketing. From one day to the next, I was almost unemployed. When did you start learn music? It was about 2 years ago. I was looking at the small MIDI keyboard that my husband had bought a few years earlier and never really used. And I thought, maybe I should take a Music 1 class in college. The last time I tried to study music was in the first grade, and it didn't go well. So I decided to give myself a second chance. In 6 very intensive weeks, I learned the basics of music notation and realized that I like it and want to continue. About a month later, I bought a full-size piano. When did you start to see yourself as a composer, not just music student? It happened about 2 months after I started learning music. One day, I heard that Korean group called BTS was nominated for a Grammy. And I was really surprised. I got curious, starting to look a bit deeper and completely fell into the rabbit hole. The funny thing is I don't even love their music that much, and rap is not my genre at all. But I was absolutely fascinated by who they are and how different they felt from anything I had seen before. I was hooked by their personalities and by their brilliant marketing. Their stories spoke to me so much. You can start as nobody, and with hard work and persistence, you can become a world star. They don't sell the idea of being chosen or lucky or born as a genius. They talk about work and effort. That's very different from the usual mainstream narratives. They also talk a lot about gratitude. They are almost obsessed with their fans and very clearly understand who pay their salary. And they are truly grateful. This message came to me at the right time and landed on very fertile ground. I was looking at their earlier photos and thinking, how did those guys even dare to dream this big? Everything starts with a dream. You have to let the idea who you could be and how you want to live your life into your head. And most important, you have to allow that idea to stay there. I remember thinking, if Sugar could become a composer, then maybe I can too. That's how I became a part of BTS Army and at the same time allowed myself to be a composer. Thanks to BTS, I finally felt that I had found my calling. What music do you write now? I want my music to be written for people, not only for myself. At first, I was choosing between the pop songs and soundtracks because those are two types of music I love and listen the most. In the end, I choose cinematic music. I see that many people need to melodies for their videos, so I have a real chance to find the clients. My husband films videos for architects, so I started writing music for his projects. And this is how I got my first clients. There is another type of music that attracted me a lot, which I didn't take very seriously at first, background or ambience music. This is the kind of music you hear in hotels, spas and places where you need to create a certain atmosphere. I always put on this kind of music when I work and my ears are free, so it feels natural for me to want to write it too. Can you just decide to be a composer and start working with clients? Of course not. After about 6 months of learning, I had some basic knowledge and whole collections of musical ideas. I was recording them into my DAW, but I couldn't understand why everything sounds so far from what I imagining in my head. I become almost obsessed with one question: how do I turn an idea into a finished professional track? My search led me to a composer who later became my coach. I still work with him. He has been doing this for about 20 years, and I was learning in the battle, on real projects, not just in theory. Around that time, my first real project appears. The client didn't order music at all. They ordering a video from my husband. But instead of buying track from the library, I offered to write the music myself. I was not ready to create a full track completely alone, so my coach helped me bring it to a professional level. We sent the video with my music to the client. He liked everything and he paid for the whole project, including music. What are the stronger fear or thoughts about starting too late that you have met? At 40, of course, it's late, but who cares? We do not have to report to anyone except ourselves. The only difference is that we don't have that extra 20 years to warm up. We have to do everything here and now. Likely, life experience helps a lot. And good feedback helps a lot too. I get clarity that I'm on the right path when my daughter asks me to send her my melody so she can add it to her playlist. What does your normal day as a composer look like now? I have a studio where I work. Most things happen at the computer. I spend all the time I have on music. Learning takes 50% and writing music takes another 50%. It's like step with right leg and steppers with left leg. That's how I move forward. What makes you different from the typical classically trained composer? My marketing experience helps a lot. I think about listeners all the time, and I write music for them that I also like myself. Having requests or brief from the client or listener is very useful because it gives a frame and direction. It helps to focus and move faster. Also, the lack of classical education gives me a kind of naivety. I do not know all the rules and canons. I also act intuitively and often in a very unusual way. But it sounds good. What is the hardest part of this path for you and why you do continue? The hardest part is first to know where to stop and not overload myself. Second, it's a choice. When someone tells you choose any instrument you want or get any sound you want, I think, how do I know what I want? If I knew, I wouldn't suffer so much from this choice. What would you say to someone who thinks it's too late to start? I want this person to feel inspired to move forward their dreams, no matter the age, to keep trying and searching until they find their own thing. Start and try, because in the worst case, you will end up in the same place where you already now. If you are also building your dream a little bit later in life, subscribe and let this channel be one of the places where you come for support and inspiration. See you soon!